Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Rewatch. This time we're here with Space Monkey Report number 2. Done number 1 a little over a month ago I think at this point, but hey, you know, there's just nothing new about Beyond Good and Evil still. So let's just rewatch some of the old stuff. If you haven't watched the first part, feel free to do so, but you probably won't need to have watched it to follow along for this one. Without further ado, if you consider this video informative, entertaining, or good to fall asleep to, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It makes me happy when that happens. I'm still at a level where I feel every single subscriber, so it's much appreciated. Or just, you know, enjoy the video, no pressure, and let's go.
Some new people and people you knew from before. So first, Guillaume, who's our producer on the game.
Hey everyone.
Then we got Emile, who you've not seen before. He's our associate creative director.
Yes. Hello everyone.
Together with someone you already know very well, obviously, Michel, our creative director.
Hi.
On Beyond Good and Evil 2. I just want to talk through the agenda of things that we'll be talking about today. One first thing that we want to mention is the timeline for the Beyond Good and Evil. So we'll be talking about the setting of the game, but also just Beyond Good and Evil in general, how the story revolves up until Beyond Good and Evil 2. And then we also want to show some gameplay, so we're very excited about that. We'll be showing the game for the very first time.
Ooh.
To be shown publicly what we've come up with until...
I don't even remember how much gameplay they're showing in this one.
In December. Just a reminder, you can ask your questions either on the Twitch or chat or on Twitter. Just use the hashtag AskBGE if you want to do so. And first things first, we want to talk about the Space Monkey program and how that matters to us.
It doesn't.
Yes, I wanted to have a few words of introduction before we get into the meat of everything.
Hello,
the
Nemesis.
Space Monkey program for us is like a
I'm being attacked by a small
We're showing
cat.
stuff at very rough state. We are showing you the way we work. We are showing you some stuff that normally is kept internal, and we are doing that because we trust you guys that you are willing to see that stuff. You want to be a part of what we do. So I'm really proud of the team, of everybody at Ubisoft to do that proactive development approach. So all what you're going to see here is really work in progress, rough. We're going to repeat it a lot, but still, it's our a contract with you.
I would just love to see where the gameplay is at right
We
now.
want to be open, so that's the first thing.
That would be so
and thanks
nice.
for watching and being a part of it. Then second thing is just a word about the project and the team. So the team is now over 120 people strong. We have welcomed of new members over the past.
There's so many different studios working on this game right now.
Working with other studios at Ubisoft. Thank you, Michel. So studios in Sofia, in Barcelona, and in Bordeaux very soon to start on the game working with us. So yeah, the team is picking up on size and strengths. So that's for
Thank you.
Emile. And the current focus of the team is E3, right? We're going to show you some new stuff today, but we're keeping a lot of surprises for June next month.
Thank you, Guillaume. So
I don't even remember what they showed off at E3.
The right to talk, right?
Did they show off anything?
I also have a challenge from some of
It's
our
so long ago.
to wear that hat at some point, so you'll have to give it to me. But for now, it's your time to talk. We'll be going through the timeline that we've set for
Yes.
BGNE. So we'll just go through some of the events that led to BGNE 2.
A quick word of
Oh boy,
introduction about
2040.
this,
This is gonna be one of those
so it's
embarrassing
actually
Back to the Future situations, huh?
Beyond Good and Evil 2, so we are really
Yeah,
showing you
17 years from now,
on the game.
we're gonna achieve
creating
perfect
timelines
space
to
travel.
The world of Beyond Good and Evil 2 in a coherent and logical way. So it's a tool of world logic. That's how we call it. And so yeah, we're showing that today so we can understand where the world is going and how this story, our story is going to unfold following this timeline. So everything on the timeline starts back on Earth in 2040, and the idea is that at that time the best scientists on the planet are working together to come up with a lot of new inventions. And one of those inventions is this new revolutionary propulsion engine. I did it. And this engine is going to allow us to cover huge distance in space and make space colonization something real and something that people are going to be able to project into. The next date, important date on the timeline is 2063. Basically everything we have on the network, on the data centers, is turning back against humans. So
God, I'm gonna be still alive for that, aren't I?
Anymore, those AI, all those things. And humans are coming back to more, I would say, basic way to communicate and to exchange informations. And that's why you're seeing in the trailer we did last year, you're seeing people communicating with M-Disk and putting infos on those M-Disks. The next date on the timeline is 2086. So it's the birth and the creation of the first talking hybrid. Before that we had hybrids, so...
Notice my silence and not saying that I'll still be alive by then.
And what's important, Michel, about those hybrids? Something you wanted to add?
Yeah, it's very important to understand that hybrids are part of that world.
Yes.
They are the power, that allow humanity,
the manpower,
that allows colonization. They are used as slaves. They are used as experiments. They are sent on different planets.
Yes.
You can compare that to the monkeys that were used during the space colonization.
Yeah. Sending monkeys in space.
Yeah, sending monkeys, dogs,
yeah.
and all these animals.
Yes, yes.
So imagine that we have this ability to create hybrids
Cats.
that hold human DNA and animal DNA. You can build them, and you can use them also, like in that case, as toys, as products. So it's quite a cynical way of using life, but it's really part of the world. It's how that world, that specific.
If you haven't seen my Beyond Good and Evil's Pearls Explained video, I have a very funny bit in there that I'm very proud of that you should probably check out. I'll link it in the little sidebar thingy or in the description or something.
Launching several new expeditions to different solar systems that are very distant from Earth, of course. And we're just naming them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's important is that those expeditions, they will not be in contact anymore once they leave Earth. So we don't know what happens to all those expeditions, but in Beyond Good and Evil 2, we will follow the expeditions that goes to System 3, the system where Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to take place. Next date, 2225. So this is one example of a major city built in System 3. It's actually the start of more, I would say, massive colonization. It's not little camps anymore, not little colonies. It's cities with meanings. Of course, this one is dedicated to the divinity Ganesha. But we will also have a lot of other important locations in this system.
Yeah, it's very important to understand that when you use your map into the game, you just press one button and then suddenly you see the whole solar system with this planet, which is a satellite of a bigger planet that rotates, that a revolution around a bigger, the big sun. But of course, you will discover other places, other different places in that solar system. And the magic button is that when you just go back again, then you have a bigger picture with the different systems. What is very important is that we want to for Beyond Good and Evil 2,
there was a lot of words to say that there's a map screen in the game.
Surprises, but the overall world is connected. But because we don't want millions of planets, we want planets that have a meaning, that have a story, and
that's a big relief too.
Reasons why
that it didn't go the No Man's Sky route.
As an example, this kind of Ganesha, this kind of city has been built here because when you look back at the planet, you recognize the shape of India.
Of the continent.
Of the
it
continent.
looks like India.
So imagine that you could have the choice between millions of planets that you could study before you start the colonization. Maybe you would choose the one that you connect with the best. So we want to give an history.
I don't know about that logic,
so that it's quite
to be honest.
an adventurer as a space.
I feel like you shouldn't be too picky when you find inhabitable planets.
So you mean that we are reasonable, right? We are doing only one solar system.
Yeah.
Just one. Just one.
For now.
Yeah. So we're moving on the timeline. So 2314. So this is actually kind of a mysterious thing. There's a giant ship traveling in System 3 with a lot of humans and hybrids in it, and it will be attacked, and we don't exactly know what happens. But it's the first time that in System 3 there's a massive aggression on a ship like this. It's a period of peace, so those things don't happen in System 3. So starting from this point, there will be many mysterious things happening in System 3, but we don't say too many things about this right now. Keeping some mysteries. I don't want to spoil it for people.
So are we thinking those are going to be DOMs or something entirely new?
What we imagine is that System 3 became such a rich solar system. There are lots of goods traveling on spaceship. It's getting so rich that actually pirates can prosper in this solar system, and we enter a golden age of piracy. That's why we're going to play the Space Pirates in Beyond the Label 2, of course. Yeah, the final date on the timeline. So it's not a date actually, we didn't put the date on the timeline, but it's the birth of Jade, of course, the character you know from Beyond the Label 1. It's important to know that Jade's birth happened in a kind of a dark period. There are lots of...
Yes, I definitely think there are alpha sections involved in that. The red laser sights are
those pirates and
usually a pretty good indicator.
again, we're not saying too many things about this, but it's important to know that...
so, judging by the fact that Jade is at least with the alpha sections in the beginning of the game, at least, I assume her parents got captured or killed and she was raised by the alpha sections.
As Emile said in the beginning,
at least that's the feeling I'm getting from all of this.
Sharing, and that the whole team is working with that in mind. And I want to stress that the game, you said it, but I want to say it again, the game is happening in that time frame, right? Not the full timeline.
And what's important is that we're creating this coherent world for people who like to play solo, who want to have a straight story or several straight stories, but also for people who like multiplayer, co-op. This world is going to be able to tell all the stories to the different players.
The document you've just seen here is really a working document. We've been hiding
a few things.
We've been hiding a few things, but again, the Space Monkey program is here to share, to have this kind of way of sharing.
I said it last time, I'm saying it this time. I hope he's not a terrible person.
I expect you to be involved.
I like his work so much. I hope he's not awful. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore now because he's not in the game industry anymore.
History is part of it because you want
and there's never gonna be another Michel Ancel game that I have to hum and haw whether I want to buy it.
If you understand history,
but man, that was such a bummer when those allegations came out.
The reasons, where are these people coming from, where do they try to go, and what connects all those people. There's this strange dark mist, that thing that is around everything that is growing, that is something menacing
and hiding,
and hiding. And it's also very important when you are talking about space pirates. You expect space pirates myth. You see things that are
legends,
you
like
just hear about those things in hidden taverns, and bars, and more and more people are talking about disappearing friends and
ships being attacked.
I think it's the time we talk about our space Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
Right. Yes. We can move to the next slide.
Yeah. Just to follow up on this, I'm sure you guys have
Ganesha final MP4 in the background.
Feel free to share away, and also if you have ideas, again, the Space Monkey program, like Michel just said, is here for that. So just head out to bgame.com and you can comment on any of our blog articles, preferably the last one where we announced this live stream, to expand on ideas that you have for the universe. We'll be very happy to read on them.
Thanks, Jean. you know, we are making that huge game. There is this logical world with this history, but everything needs to be tied all together with the story. What are you going to do in Beyond Good and Evil 2? As an example, and as a key ingredient into the story, you have this strange galactic object that you have seen at the end of the trailer last year. This is what we call the Moksha Door.
Yeah, Moksha's Gate.
Moksha's
Door,
Gate.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much about that.
Both gay Moksha straight.
That attracts you and something that is very
So
dangerous.
Moksha is what
This is the place
now?
where you will go with your spaceship, with your crew. You will be under attack. You will have a lot of things to do there. Yeah, we can see some example and little scenes of the kind of things that you can have around there. But the most important thing is that this is
That was a great freeze frame. Ooh.
some people think that
Well,
they
no,
can
no.
the hybrids can have a new life beyond that door. Maybe some pirates, they think about glory. Maybe living forever.
No one knows what it really is, actually. That's
Exactly.
what's interesting. That's why you have legends.
Maybe this is a huge trap. Maybe this is, and you have,
Doms.
you know, this cemetery
Yes,
around.
graveyard of ships.
It's
So-
probably
Yeah, in
Doms.
such a world, it's very important. to
I'm gonna
have
assume
a
everything we don't know yet is
want to reach,
Doms.
want to understand, want to dig into.
Mhm.
So that's part of the motivation
Yes.
and of what makes you starting the game. About that, we have another very important thing in Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Like that's
the
just
fact
the
that you can
Dom's
create
home world
your own,
behind there, and
captain.
you actually caused all these
Yeah.
We
problems.
don't want to stick to human. You can be an hybrid. You can be
Oh, I like that chameleon in the top
man,
left.
Yeah.
female or different.
Oh, its
genders.
eyes
It's
are
very
massive.
important. It's very important. It's
It's
coming from
beautiful.
you, space monkeys.
And how fucky it looks.
Who you want to be
Yeah.
into the game? What kind of characters? And a lot of you insisted in this idea.
The elephant looks like
being able to create your
the
character.
grumpy
So,
neighbor in a
the common point
sitcom.
is this big world, you know, those motivations, those very important and exciting things.
Yeah.
But you can live your adventure the way you want,
Mm.
and of course you will encounter different characters, friends, and exactly like in Beyond Good and Evil 1, they can become part of your crew.
Yeah.
You can recruit
Wait,
maybe an
they
enemy
can become
that
part of your crew?
appear or happen to be
Like in Beyond Good and Evil
part of
1?
your
That's
crew.
not
Mhm.
true.
And, this is really
No, this is like Metal Gear Solid 5,
Yeah, that's
and
what's interesting.
Portable Ops and
Imagine
Peace Walker,
It could be your captain, but
where you can kidnap people and then convince them to join you,
Great variety of crew members. Every people you meet
or
become-
rescue people,
become-
alternatively.
That's a strong motivation for your adventure and going through the game, and exploring everything, of course.
So this is part of the things we will
I really hope it's not gonna be too numbers-based.
next.
Like, I don't know if I said this last time already, but playing
very
something
important to
like
understand that
Assassin's Creed
you play
Origins
Space Captain,
and stabbing someone in their sleep only for them to
that
get
are
up and
dedicated to
one-shot
specific
you
tasks. You
is
can
just
spaceship,
stupid. It's the least fun thing that ever happened to me in a video
spy.
game.
They all have a very important role.
And I've played Dark
to
Souls
extend
2.
Your abilities to explore more, handle new spaceships, and discover new places. So they,
And that's why you're looking for the best crew member, actually, exploring everything to find the...
yeah, and
the
you're
best
not
ones.
limited to 3, 4, 5. You have your
Yeah.
main crew members, but there's also in your huge spaceship enough room
to store a lot
to
of...
store a lot, to have a lot of friends, a lot of other characters you will encounter, and that will makes you become a space pirate legend.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Yes,
Guillaume?
I wanted to say something because this was not supposed to be, but I really like Charlotte. Can we post this after on the blog?
Of course.
Because that's an we cannot see that much, but that's an original artwork from BGNE 1, right? Yes, and tada, that's the Moksha Door. So we have been making a lot of work to tie in BGNE 2 because it's the same universe. It's the same It's the same themes, the same stories, and the same. So yeah, and I found this back in an old in a drawer on the floor here, and I was like, hey, who drew this door? And it was like last year, but somebody told me, oh, it's not last year, it's like 15 years old. So so this is one of the evidences that we are really true to BGNE as a license. So if we can post
Yeah, it's really interesting how they're digging up old stuff that didn't make it into the first
So
game.
we're talking about the setting.
I wonder if maybe that alien race that's, what would it called, the Nas that were in the original script, if those are making a comeback, that would be interesting.
This is very work in progress. We'll be showing it, and then we'll be talking.
Oh hell yeah, we're getting gameplay.
And what we're doing.
It's been 3 years, it'll feel like new.
We play the video. There's a lot of discussion on the blog and around about what is BGNE2 like. Can you say what is it? So in the team we agreed about that definition, right? That's so BGNE2 it's a seamless action adventure RPG that I can play solo or with my friends. Well, that's what we're making. We cannot make it clearer.
Without further ado, we'll now be starting the video, and you can see what Guillaume was just saying in the
Alright everybody,
discussing further right after.
let's take a fucking look at the gameplay. Ooh. Like, okay, like this looks fine. Like the motion capture is good. Very stylish. I like how the ships look. It's a little silly for people to just be standing on top of there. It's kind of like it really is an RPG. It's just like Final Fantasy when everybody gets on board the airship to fight random monsters that landed on it instead of just ignoring them. What just happened? One of the cats freaked out.
We're very happy.
What? That was it?
Again, very early stage, very work in progress.
Ah!
Yeah, we'll just be
I just want to see how the game actually plays.
ships. Can you guys maybe cover this?
Just one comment, that was too short. But we want to keep a lot of things for E3. So that's that. So we fight all together, but but this is just okay. They're just showing a few seconds.
Yeah.
But there's so much to discover for E3 also. But yeah, if you look carefully at what we've just shown, there is one very important thing, is that everything is connected.
Exactly.
You can do everything anywhere at any time. It means that you can have a fight inside of a spaceship that is being attacked. So maybe you are inside of the spaceship. That's part of, if you look carefully, at some point you have Nox, our monkey, is inside a huge spaceship that is being attacked. And he could fight into that spaceship. He could need to get out.
Trying to escape,
trying
because
to
it's going
escape.
to explode, of course.
While the spaceship is collapsing, this huge
Yeah,
spaceship. And this is not scripted. This is not a sequence that will happen here and never again. This is just because it happened, because something attacked, or maybe you attacked that ship. And now, as you can see it, here it just collapsed because of your actions. So it's really systemic. It's really epic things you can live with your friends or alone. And those things, they have no boundaries. There's no loading. That's why this game is taking so much time to be done. I've been.
Yeah, you can say that again.
It's so long. Come on, release the game this year if you can. There is so much to do for this game just to make this possible. Imagine
I am so just already disappointed by the fact that I'm not going to like Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Maybe more.
I just want to like it. This looks cool. This would be so much fun if it didn't, if it wasn't an action RPG but just an action, like a stealth action game. Even if it was closer to something like Far Cry 3, where you level up and you gain new abilities, but no matter what level you're at, if you shoot someone in the head, they're dead. If you stab someone in the back, they're dead. You know, that's always the thing, but then you get an ability where you can stab 3 people in a row, and that's how you get more powerful. But the way they've been talking about the game, from what I remember, it really seems like, oh, this weapon deals 12 damage, which is an upgrade with a weapon that deals 10 damage. Now I still need 5 hits to kill an enemy, but it looks like I can do it slightly faster. I don't know.
From space,
I don't know.
Continue the fighting or see the actions. You can go in cities while all these things are happening. So you will discover more of this for E3, of course. But we wanted to share a few seconds of that.
And what we're revealing for the
We're definitely doing the E3 thing after this.
Something also coming from Beyond Good and Evil 1. So,
After this being, you know, a couple months from now, early next year.
It's making that combat different from another game. Just one thing is that you can, as you've seen it, you can attack from your spaceship. You know, start one attack very high and attack down. You can use your you can use your
step on a flying ship and be fighting someone on it.
You can use your jetpack during an attack to dodge or to escape very quickly or jump onto another spaceship. So that's the combinations of all those gameplay.
Of Dodo's
We will
gameplay.
talk more about in-depth gameplays, about things that are making all those different gameplays deep and more able to sustain long time and play styles and all these things. But again, here we wanted to share this piece of footage.
Yes, it's a kind of a sneak peek for you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
I want that little statuette of Jade holding a pearl
We've been having,
and do a really shitty job at painting it.
We've also taken some from the forums and we've taken some
I would do such a bad job, but it would be so funny.
The first one that we got was about brothels. Brothels could be a place where pirates gather intel and get some downtime. Will we be seeing brothels in the game? This was a question from Kiera on our forums. What do you think?
When you look at the trailer for last E3, you have those kind of dark places. That's part of the pirates' way of life. The way the treatment we will make, we will be careful about the different aspect of that, but it's part of this kind of world. That's what you can expect. It's a mature game. We don't want to be half pirate or something like that. You know, we want to go in the full role, and it's really about playing the space pirate at 200%.
Yeah,
it's very important.
One direction we give to
That wasn't a yes or a no, so that probably means they didn't want to have to render every kind of animal doing it with any kind of animal, which I can't really blame them for. Like, obviously they wouldn't do it pre-rendered, they would just swap out the models, but that would still be really freaky and gross to everyone but a small subset of people who would actually like looking at that.
Female characters in video games are usually young and sexy or old and not sexy. How about sexy old lizard women?
I think the key word is that we don't want usual things or too usual things. We want all kind of things. You know, that's the theme of. That's why we choose pirates.
Exactly.
Because pirates, they can have scars on their face. They can be small, tall. You know, every genders, every styles, every ethnic origins, every animal origins.
They're okay with diversity. That's something they embrace.
Yeah, that's actually like a historical fact.
As an example,
like a lot of pirates were pirates because they were kicked out for being non-standard, quote unquote, for having different gender identities or sexualities, or races that weren't particularly well respected in their time and place. So
this question.
They just
Yeah,
went
but definitely, I mean,
went full pirate, which
maybe we
you
won't
know,
use exact
pirates are
but
often
really
romanticized.
the-
Real world
yeah,
pirates
yeah,
kind of
for
sucked
the
ass.
really, yes.
In more ways than one, I guess.
By the way, we had a
But
link on,
yeah,
on
that's
the
a real
It
thing.
was
That's
not
a real
you know,
thing that
we
they're
don't need
basing
to,
this on.
You know, in
It's
the
never
screen-
easy to
Yeah.
know with lizards.
Like I was saying, a lot of people are asking questions from BG81, obviously. So on Discord, we got a question from Johansson69 who asked.
Oh hey,
"When
shout
the
out
answer
to
is
Johansson69.
BG81?"
I would say yes and no, which is
Best answer.
Good
yeah.
answer.
Coward.
No, because it's a prequel, so
Yes,
we are not going to tell what happened after, which is the purpose of this cliffhanger. And I would say yes.
I really hope to just do like an expansion that's just a sequel to Beyond Good and Evil.
You discovered
Just
in,
do it.
Resident Evil 1,
Just
will be
use the
reviewed
mechanics of the
gameplay,
game,
or somehow you will
set it on
better
Hillis.
the origins of
Yeah,
Jades.
exactly.
It was a big
Just
mystery.
do it. Just kind of like Blood Dragon or one of the other Far Cry expansions that went crazy. Just do that, but with BGE.
To dig into those questions because
Yes,
it's
and even the hybrids, it's as simple as that. Because in Beyond Good and Evil, you had hybrids and you had no idea where they're coming from. And here we're going to explain the origins of the hybrids.
It's
Yeah,
really
that's
a
actually
chance
something that I thought they retconned, but they actually didn't.
because
I recently saw, I forget who shared it, some Beyond Good and Evil fan account,
many
old storyboards where
really working
Paige was actually listed as a clone on the board.
quite as possible.
And I was really surprised by that, because obviously, like most of you, I assumed that they were all just aliens.
Left the first
So, yeah, they were always
game. It's
close.
really an immensely rich
Which is
world.
really neat, I guess, that they thought of that all those years ago.
Go play Beyond Good and Evil 1. I know there are very few people.
Maybe a few of them.
Everybody played it.
Maybe
Two or
10
three.
or
Yeah.
12.
Maybe a
No, it's a way for newcomers to discover the world, and they don't need to have played Beyond Good and Evil 1. They will discover that world naturally, just by being into the world. Look, we don't want people to go into books or things like that. Just by playing the game, you will feel the history, you will understand.
You will learn more about
I wonder
the
if
world
the
as
Beyond
you
Good and
play
Evil
it.
movie is still
When you
happening.
see giant spaceship, carrying.
I would love
mining
to
somewhere
review
and bringing
that,
the
to
stuff
just
into another
put out a 4-hour review
what's happening,
of the Beyond Good and Evil movie.
The world
is
is
built, what is
And if you think I'm joking, I made a
That's
3-hour review of Beyond Good and Evil 1 that you can watch on my channel.
they have to connect with some logical.
I'll do it,
logical things
and no one can
to
stop
be
me,
believable.
Yeah, we have
unless they
a lot of
don't release the movie,
stories that
in which case they've successfully stopped me.
team games, that are there for the credibility of the world.
Okay.
That's a
Also,
long answer to a short question.
well, also related to BG81, the camera gameplay in the first game was one of the main things, one of the big things that there was to do in the game. And people are wondering, more specifically Lab Pleb on Discord, they want to know if the camera gameplay is something that has been worked on, if we've made new design decisions or even actual implementation of that in BG82.
So as you know, you're not playing a journalist anymore in Beyond Good and Evil 2. You're playing a space pirate captain, but we kept the idea of the camera, but it's not a camera anymore because you're a pirate, you have a spyglass. And this spyglass has kind of the same functions that the camera used to have in Beyond Good and Evil 2, but even more things. So you're going to be able to take pictures with it, scan the environment to get more info, all sorts of things. Again, we're not revealing everything today, but it's very
Yeah, I
powerful.
like that. I like
All of
that.
it's
Just
more info
switching it up to a spyglass
Yeah,
that
spyglass.
can also take pictures. That makes a lot of sense for something futuristic like that. I mean, I think there's already like,
Another thing, so we talked about the
what are they
character
called?
we'll be
Telescopes
playing
that
as,
can
so
take
we'll be
pictures,
playing
right?
As a parrot. There's that question about the fact that our character is not a known character from the BG81 universe. Is there a chance that we could play as the bad guys helping the Super Corporation, or are we stuck to being parrots? And this is a question from Canon on Discord as well.
Yeah, that's exactly part of the freedom we want to give to the player.
Yeah,
Being
is
good or
it?
evil is the title. We don't want to force people being good or doing this and that.
Yes.
So some people could say, but how can you tell a story if you can be both good or evil? And our answer is very simple, is that the world is the story. And for example, if you want to reach the door, you will have to go to different places, you will meet different characters, but the way you will meet them, the ways you know, the different ways and actions you will do to reach them, it's up to you.
Totally free.
If it's bloody or if it's more smarter, you're more based on
I will
actions.
choose the bloody approach, for example.
Oh, yeah.
It's very important to give that feeling of freedom, but it's all in the same world. So that's exactly that's part
So,
of the
I've already
Always be
talked
free.
about it in a
But
different video. I don't remember which one.
it will be possible.
But I'm kind of assuming
Be able to do
that the game will be structured similarly to Breath of the Wild,
exactly.
where it just tells you defeat Ganon right off the bat,
Then we'll have to,
and then you just have to prepare for that
last
moment.
question we're taking today will be something that's been asked on Twitch by Luxley. Will
Let's
you
see what
find
the final
information
question
in
is.
the game, on what happened to the other systems.
Okay, I don't care about that. So I'm
I'm really
thinking
happy
it'll be
that
pretty
you
similar
like
to
that
Breath of the
question.
Wild in
That's
that
exactly why the
you will gradually collect more and more Divolite, which will be pearls. I've made a video about that too.
He or she
Um,
follows really carefully the
And that will allow you to get bigger and bigger ships and to upgrade your gear more and more,
Yes,
because
there was
those
connection,
pearls will
but,
be
and, say
reusable
that
because
it's
they're an
great
infinite
to
power
space
source, because they're made of
that
Divolite.
distance
And that
from
way you're gradually
yeah,
leveling up
connections
and
are
becoming
hard to
more and more
simplify,
powerful. Your
reasons to
ship is
reduce
becoming
the water.
stronger.
We don't want to
You'll be
spoil
able
everything,
to
but
have
it's
bigger
quite
ships, better ships.
interesting of creating
And
such a
all of that is going to help you in the final
stories,
mission, which will be
you know,
to cross through the gate and do whatever you have to do on the other side.
Connections, stories, is what we can do.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of how I'm
Wait
thinking
for
the game is
stories,
going to go.
you know, made
Like, it's
quite,
just going to drop you in a world and tell you to go to
By the way,
different
so
places,
since this is the end of this
while
video,
also on the way you can
select
find
your
tons of other stuff
ideas,
to improve
ask
yourself.
questions, on
Like
each
Breath of the Wild. I think this game is going to be Breath of the Wild in
taking part in the
space,
game
honestly.
and,
Combined with Metal Gear Solid 5 in terms of
but,
building up a crew and
oh,
a
sorry,
ship
Duncan.
instead of Mother Base.
Nice. Now we're talking,
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Space Pirate, Cowgirl.
Yeah, the Space Cowgirl, very much. Yeah, we've been mentioning this, but we're working hard at the moment on E3, and I just want to thank you guys again. As a token, one of our fans has made and given us this 3D printed jade. It was given in person to Michelle, so thank you guys for your dedication, and just stay tuned for E3.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye bye,
all.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye everyone!
Bye.
See you soon.
Okay, well. That was that. Overall, it's one of the few glimpses at gameplay that we've gotten. It's not particularly impressive gameplay because it's just a bunch of spaceships sliding around in the sky, and yeah, no, that's pretty cheap to animate, I imagine, compared to actual character models. The little staff, what do you call that? Staff showcase with the mocap artist. I think the mocap artist did a great job there. It looks awesome. What else is there? The combat you only saw very briefly. I thought it was kind of interesting that both Nox and whatever the female character's name is had very similar animations fighting with the staff. But that's to be expected if they're making a bunch of different species, including lizards, which I only really fully registered in the last video. Then then that's fine. Like, the game looks to be big enough that you can totally justify reusing assets wherever it's possible, just so it doesn't end up becoming impossibly expensive and only possible to finance through excessive monetization post-release. If this game ends up being good and absolutely massive, I would be fine paying $80, $90 for it, if it means that it has everything included. If it's one of those games that are just gonna be buggy or completely unfinished very clearly, or full of microtransactions that boost your XP and money gain and garbage like that, well, obviously then I'm not willing to pay any money for the game, because then it should just be free to play. And maybe the game will be free to play, who the hell knows? I doubt it, but you know, if they're gonna over monetize it, then they might as well. Yeah, I mean, the art continues to be great. The game in motion obviously doesn't look perfect yet. It's at the time of this stream, which was years ago, it was still very much pre-alpha, unfinished. The graphics are not the first thing they finish about a game. Not at all. Yeah. I think there's kind of not a lot to say about this one, considering that the only real meat to it was the tiny bit of gameplay that we saw. The timeline is kind of interesting, but ultimately it doesn't matter for the game all that much. Sure, it helps to recontextualize why there are pirates and when things happened, but ultimately it doesn't affect gameplay all that much. Like, ideally, they come up with gameplay first and then come up with a roundabout way of explaining why it works that way within their universe. Hopefully they're adjusting the timeline so that gameplay makes sense and not the other way around. Hopefully it won't be horribly grindy. I'm hoping definitely that this will lean further towards Far Cry than Assassin's Creed, because the new Assassin's Creed games are just awful. And from what I've played of Far Cry 5, at least the new Far Cry games are still action games. And Beyond Good and Evil is an action game. It's not an RPG. It's a stealth action game. And that's what I would like from Beyond Good and Evil 2. Hello, Nemesis. You're ruining our couch. Come on, stop it. Ow! I am just getting scratched to shit by a little goblin. Yes, that's you. Well, with all that being said, I'll see you again in a couple of weeks or months for Space Monkey Report number 3. If you found this video informative, entertaining, or good to fall asleep to, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Like I said, I'm still at a point where every single subscriber feels wonderful. Get a little tingle when King of the Llamas, or whatever the name was, subscribed. You know. You know who you are. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.